A terminally ill woman finds a pair of red high heels outside her door. She has an instant and ominous feeling she had visited her best friend in the hospital, and she was wearing the exact same shoes to verify her terrible suspicion. Maya cautiously walks towards the bedroom. Sure enough, she hears two familiar voices. Her best friend, Joy, is actually lying in bed with her husband. These heartless people even discuss aloud how they should kill Maya to collect the high insurance payout of 1 billion, seeing her two favorite people betraying her. Maya's only photo with her father was also deliberately damaged. She could no longer hold back her anger and rushed into the room. But now she had no extra strength in her sick and disabled body. Soon Maya was thrown onto the coffee table by her husband. She suffered a serious head injury and instantly collapsed in a pool of blood. But when Maya opened her eyes again, she was reborn with memories and returned 10 years ago. This time, she decided to take revenge on her husband and best friend for killing her. Maya and Tom fell in love for many years and got married. Although her biological parents were not there to witness the wedding, she was still happy to give her best friend Joy the bouquet. Maya also embraced her mother-in-law deeply at the wedding. But since she never got pregnant after marriage, her mother-in-law cursed her as a useless old hen, seeing everything her husband Tom did not defend his wife. Instead, he resigned from his job as a breadwinner because he was addicted to stock speculation in order to try to maintain this small family with leaks everywhere. Maya had to continue to struggle in the workplace, but this day she suddenly had a nosebed after being scolded by her boss. After returning home in a flustered state, Maya saw her husband lying on the sofa, unconsciously playing games. She hoped that her husband would repair the long broken door lock and take out the laundry from the washing machine. However, Tom blamed Maya for her poor workability, as if it were none of his business. Then, he even wanted to fight to vent his emotions. At this time, Maya found out that she had advanced gastric cancer. After learning this, Tom and his mother were furious. They felt unlucky to have married such a sick child-in-law. And the mother-in-law even pointed at Maya and cursed her, telling her to keep working until she couldn't work anymore. It wasn't long before Maya completely collapsed. Fortunately, Joy never left her side during her hospital stay and urged her never to give up on treatment. Maya, who was immersed in her friendship, was oblivious to the fact that her best friend was plotting a vicious plan, as the medical expenses were really running low. Maya called her husband and asked him to come over and pay the bill, but there was no answer from the other end. She had no choice but to go back herself to withdraw the money. As soon as Maya left the hospital gate, she happened to meet a taxi. The driver could tell that Maya was seriously ill to help her feel better. The driver turned the car around and drove Maya through a long tunnel to a path full of peach blossoms. The driver tried to comfort Maya's wounded body and mind in this way. After arriving at the destination, the driver even generously handed Maya a banknote and told her that this was the last time he would drive a taxi, because she really couldn't say no to the driver's repeated insistence. Maya had no choice but to take the note and go home, where she found her husband playing games with her best friend. The funny thing was that Joy blamed Maya for everything and scolded her for being so selfish, even in death. In order to protect Joy from the beating, Tom threw Maya onto the coffee table and lost his life. They had no idea that the dead Maya had therefore been reborn 10 years ago to take revenge. She decided to set her husband up with her best friend on the first day of her rebirth. Maya opened her eyes and was immediately embraced by Tom, who was standing close by, recalling that 10 years later he was a domestic abuser. Maya screamed in fear. She kept throwing things at Tom and tugging at his hair. Maya wanted to dismember the playboy. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Minister Jack stepped in and pulled Maya back, saying, "This is the company." Maya looked around at her familiar colleagues and came to her senses, realizing that she didn't have a needle mark on her hand. She hurriedly went to the mirror to look at her face. She was shocked to see that she really looked 10 years younger. Maya was terrified by all the sudden changes. She kept backing up, knocking over a pot of boiling water just as she was about to be disfigured by the heat. Jack came to her rescue in time. However, one wave of trouble followed another, after witnessing Tom and Joy appear at the same time. Maya was reminded of the image of them jointly harming her. 10 years later, in her panic, she ran straight out. Accidentally losing all her shoes, Jack was really worried about her and chased after her. He happened to save Maya, who was about to fall down the stairs. Jack asked Maya to calm down first and went to help look for her shoes. It was at this time that Maya suddenly saw that the once towering buildings were all shorter. The time it took to look around was marked with the year 2013. A strong sense of unease enveloped her. Yes, Jack quickly escorted Maya home. He knew that Maya's wallet and phone were at the office, so he gave her some cash for emergencies. As the door opened, Maya noticed that the display at home was exactly the same as it had been 10 years ago. The manufacturing dates on all the food in the fridge were also 2013. But before she could figure it out, she heard the doorbell ring. Jack had bought her a bag of food. He hoped that this would help Maya to calm down that night, looking at the calendar with the year 2013. Maya once again fell into deep thought. She knew that Jack was the grandson of the founder of Future Company. Now that he was only a minister, it clearly confirmed that she had returned to the past. After calming down, Maya sorted out all the cash and found that one of the bills had a heart painted on it. This was the secret code that only she and her father knew. She then realized that the taxi driver she passed by the hospital that day was actually her biological father. But before Maya could react, Tom came home from work. He brought Maya's phone and bag from the office. Then he took Maya to a roadside stall and scolded her for being so inconsiderate since she was pregnant. She should have told him he had found that Maya had been unable to eat recently. He had thought that she was just being cranky because she thought she was pregnant. Tom suggested that she should focus on her career first and get an abortion as compensation. Tom was willing to pay half of the surgery fee. Maya knew that she had stress gastritis, and she remembered that Tom was the one who had been putting mental pressure on her since then. With no choice, Maya directly proposed to break up. Then she threw the meal fee on the table and turned around to leave. But soon Tom caught up with her. He frantically pushed Maya against the wall and asked her why she was losing her temper for no reason if she wasn't pregnant. "Can you break up just because you want to?" Seeing Tom shouting that he wanted to kill himself, Maya Hurley shouted for help, attracting the police. But the police officer lectured Maya for a while, saying that it was just a quarrel between a young couple. Then he escorted her home in order to get rid of Tom. As soon as possible, Maya decided to pack her bags and run away that night. However, she discovered that before she was reborn, she had almost transferred all her savings to Tom for fear of breaking up the remaining $710,000. One could not support her for even a month. At this time, Tom sent a message to Maya apologizing. He also said that he had made a lot of money from the stock he bought, although Maya said that Tom was crazy, but she suddenly remembered that Tom had made a lot of money from stocks before they got married. She quickly invested all her savings. Then Maya went to the hospital for a full body check. Thankfully, at the moment, her health was fine. Feeling relieved, she went to the library again to read books on stock trading and quitting her job. Unexpectedly, she ran into Jack. Her manager and Jack's arm had a clear burn mark, so the two of them went to the cafeteria, looking at Jack, who had removed his eye patch. Maya inexplicably felt a flutter in her heart. She was very grateful to Jack for his help that day. Jack, however, asked Maya if she wanted to quit because she was getting married. MAA had clearly been prepared to die rather than get married. MAA said she was considering it, but Joy's call interrupted everything. She was worried about Maya's state of mind and called to check on her. Maya, who didn't want to talk, hung up before leaving. Jack suddenly praised Maya for being a very capable person. He believed she could do well at work and in marriage. It was a pity that she was quitting her job. Maya kept smiling and didn't say a word. What she didn't know was that that day Jack had looked back at her for a long time. The next day, Maya went to work as normal to avoid a direct confrontation with Yoo-dam. She had no choice but to climb the stairs into the office. No matter how many notes Tom passed her, she never bothered to read them. And as soon as Maya turned around, she saw Joy crouching nearby, asking why she hadn't replied to her messages all day. Maya hesitated and said she'd been hanging out in the community area all day, captivated by a story about a family and their marriage. Watching Joy today, Maya really wants to pat her on the head, but she can't bring herself to do it. Luckily, Chief Jean calls her over. At this time, Chief Jean goes through Maya's creative plan and says it's really poor in front of the whole company. He scolds her severely, but Maya clearly remembers that before she was reborn, Joy took her plan. She didn't change a word, but she received a strong,